What up, y'all? This is T Money, and you are now watching the T Money Podcast joint right here in the building. We got my girl Stax Cadero. On the co-host side, that's how she do, man. What's up, Stax? How we doing, baby?
What's going on, T Money? How you be?
You flipped your drip today. You
listen.
You got your Gloria Gaynor on right now. You got your Gloria Gaynor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will survive.
You got your
as long as I'm blinged out, I will survive. I'm saying.
That's what I'm talking about. So today we have so here on our show we really like to support entrepreneurial spirit, and we like to support women of color.
Yes.
As it relates to their entrepreneurial spirit, the whole package, right? So today we have a woman by the name of Velvet on our show, who is
Velvet?
President, CEO of a company called Vedazzling Accessories. Hello, Velvet. How are you today, babe?
I'm great.
How's everything? You're okay?
I'm great. Thank you.
Good, man. Listen to me. I was captivated by your energy and your spirit, because we linked up, through my executive assistant, Annette, and Annette is all over the place.
Big shout out to Annette.
Shout out to Annette. 2 fingers to Annette.
She found the building.
And she introduced us, and I was like, yo, you're charismatic, and you have a great story, So I wanted you to actually tell everybody about your story, and talk about how you started in making accessories and being in fashion, and a whole bunch of things. So where should we start? Like I really want to start how did you think that you were able to actually, because honestly, people, like, I think you said something earlier when we were here milling around. It was like, I could never do what you guys do, but to me it seems like you could do whatever you want, right? Because you're smart, and you're ready, you rock, and so I'm sorry, all the accolades that I'm trying to give you, I don't know if they're resonating.
No, I receive it.
But
all the flowers, all the bouquets.
But real talk on a serious side, like I think it's important, because I do have a daughter, right? And and it's important to be present, and think in terms of okay, I everybody in the world is not going to always like what I do. Mm-hmm. I might not ever wind up being YSL or Coach or Gucci or whoever else, right? But I can't make a living doing this because I'm talented. So talk to us a little about, first off, where you're from, and talk about how you came up, and maybe give us a little background on how you got in this position to be able to actually become an entrepreneur in the first place.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll edit it because I don't want it to be forever.
That's okay, but no. Please feel free to say whatever you need to say here.
Free your mind, girl. Free your mind.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm from the Bronx, born in Manhattan, but raised in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. My parents were like stable, city workers. Mm-hmm. So entrepreneurship was never really a thing that I saw in my household at home. And so that wasn't even something even to this day, my parents are like, what? Like, all of my siblings were all like entrepreneurs in some form of fashion. But just growing up in the Bronx, I did see a lot of fashion because of being in the Bronx, street style, the culture of living uptown in the Bronx. And I decided to leave my community and go to high school in Manhattan, and the world just opened.
Oh, yes.
You know how it is.
Oh, yes.
I went to high school in Midtown. I went to graphic arts back in the days. I don't know if it's still around.
Oh, wow.
I went to graphics, yeah.
Wow, okay,
that was like near fashion.
Yeah, because we were on 49th Street. Mm-hmm. So we were close to Park West, but that was back in the days. And that's really where my mind opened up to, like, seeing things outside of the community that I lived in. And I went to school for fashion. I got my bachelor's degree for merchandising. And then I thought that I was going to be in a fashion industry. Mm-hmm. And I was in the fashion industry for a while. And then I was let go. But before I was let go, I kept having jobs where I would get fired. Like, because
you're a boss.
Right. Because I would assert, I hope I'm saying it correctly, assert myself into like stuff that's going on, and I know that doesn't look right, and
Right.
that doesn't sound right, and people just don't really want to hear your opinion.
Right.
And I didn't understand that. Like when you work for somebody, you kind of like have to follow what they're saying. So if
Right.
you see something, people don't really want you to call it out. They just want you to kind of like be quiet and go back to your desk. So I kept having that issue. And then I was looking for a way to supplement my income, and I started buying and reselling stuff on eBay when eBay first started. And then I was doing really well on eBay, just flipping things, buying and reselling stuff because I had access. By being in the fashion industry, I knew about certain sample sales, so I would get Fendi, Gucci,
Nice. For
and just
the
say that I'm an
low.
authorized dealer through my job, and I was like buying and flipping things. So that was the first entryway where I was like, oh, wow, I'm really good at this. And I started making a lot of like good money. I lived with my parents. It was like I wasn't rich, but it was enough for me to buy a car, and I started to realize I like this. So I started doing events and selling and just buying and reselling. So that was the first beginning. So by the time that I like lost my like fourth job, I'm like skipping ahead. I was like, you know what? I'm going to really start this business. Like I was talking to my sister, and my sister was like, why don't you look at that as not a supplemental income, but like as a real thing, and you should own a business. And I was like, I guess I could. So I went into a couple of classes and at the Learning Annex. I'm aging myself. And then I was like, I could do this. And so I had a job, and I was saving my money. But then in the course of me saving, I had went online to Craigslist, and I found a storefront. And then I started the store, and then I got fired. So I was able to
Be there all the time.
Right.
Right.
So I was like, I'm like an accidental, or maybe the universe or God needed me to be there.
So let me ask you a question in regards to that. So this is all good. So
Yep.
you took off. So how did you know? So how did you know?
I know it's a crazy story.
But how did you know that? Because people listen. People do things for different reasons, right?
Yes,
People, okay, because something works for you doesn't necessarily mean it's your passion.
facts.
Because
Yes.
you're making money at it. And I equate it to athletics. There are athletes who continuously work at something because they want to be the best at it, and not necessarily because their talent level is at a certain height or whatever. They just work at it because they feel that that's what they're supposed to do. And to use sports references, you would think like Kobe Bryant, who didn't like to go party, all he wanted to do was work in the gym.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. Jerry Rice, the great wide receiver for the 49ers, he constantly worked at his craft. And then you have other athletes, and I'm trying to equate it to
I
fashion
got
or whatever
you.
your
No, I
passion
totally
is,
get it.
that are naturally gifted. And they don't necessarily work at their craft that way because they're naturally gifted. They're good when they roll out of the bed.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So how did you know that fashion and doing what you were doing was a passion of yours, or how did you know the difference? Because I know you said that you said you could do this.
Yep.
It's because you were turning $1. How did you know that it was like something that you really loved to do?
Well, I've always done sales, and it's funny because I was on a double dutch team in junior high school.
Oh, nice.
Right? Like that was
Double
when
Dutch
it was
is
a
cool.
thing, right? And
Yeah.
remember you had to raise money and sell those chocolate bars. I don't know if y'all went
I
to
love
public
that.
school.
That's
yes,
Miss
yes.
Chocolate.
Yes.
She's still around.
She
Yes.
is.
Miss Chocolate is still getting money.
No way.
She is. So wherever you selling your stuff at, grab some Miss Chocolates and just have it there on the
See?
Right.
side.
And that
Just
was
saying.
back in the back in the days. So I knew, I didn't know, but when I think back, I knew that I was always good at sales because, so on the double dutch team, I was the highest earner.
Right.
And then I'm so, like, I guess thinking back now, I would take, okay, so the bar was $1. I would sell it at $2.
Now you can
And then
sell it
I
for
would keep
$3.
the dollar, and then I would give the school back the money that they asked for. I was doing that. Then I used to go to there was a supermarket near my job, my school, and I would go and I would get like Jolly Ranchers. Are they still around?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
they
okay. So I would remember the long Jolly Ranchers, and I would sell them at lunch until I got suspended. But the point is
are.
that
Wait a minute. We'll get to
yeah,
that.
because you're not supposed to
We'll get to
solicit
that.
and all this other stuff.
Hey.
But the point is, I was always doing sales. I'm very good at negotiating. My parents will tell you that I'm a very good negotiator. So that's just a skill. I'm a good talker.
Right.
I'm really good at talking and communicating. I can get you guys to be on my side, and you won't even know. Stacks will be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so right. Let's do this." I'm good at getting the people.
What's your sign?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Okay, business. You straight business about the money. Okay,
Yes.
keep going.
So, and I didn't know about astrology. Like people keep telling me that, but I've
you
always
see the fire sign. The fire is coming from your hair. The fire,
Right.
it's a fiery
Very
color.
true.
So that's what. So to your question, I've always been enthusiastic about selling, but I didn't understand that it was selling at the time. I just thought, oh well, if I give the school back $1 and I keep $1, what's the big deal? Or if I come, because you said like, because what happened was like people would say, oh, we can't leave during the day, but we want Jolly Ranchers. I said, you know what? If I get up early, go to the supermarket.
Supply and demand.
Buy the Jolly Ranchers right before school starts. Bring it in my backpack, bring it to school, and then sell it at lunch.
Right.
What's the big deal, right?
Right.
So I've always been in some sort of capacity of sales. When I was in college, I worked in a restaurant, so I understood how to, like, I was a waitress. And even then, I would negotiate and tell people, well, when you want to get this?
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Monroe College in the Bronx.
Oh, I'm familiar with Monroe. No question.
Yes,
No question.
I stayed in the Bronx and went to Monroe. And actually, my major was first, it was business management. Not because I wanted to be a business owner, but I just wanted to work in business. And then, like I said, it was, I guess it was a destiny sort of thing.
Right.
Because I didn't really know. No, again, my parents didn't come from entrepreneurship. My grandmother, no one in my family. I was the first one to own a store and be an entrepreneur and all of that stuff. And even then, they thought I was crazy. They were like, "You're gonna do what?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna get a store." Like, it was crazy. So it's just that I don't think anyone guided me there. I think it was already in me. I just needed an opportunity, or I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Because when I was a child, I was always doing sales. So it was just like not a big deal. Oh, okay. When my parents told me, no, we can't afford it. All right, I'm going to figure out a way to get those Jordans because everyone else has it and I want a pair.
Usually when we talk about people of color and they're doing sales when they're young, it doesn't really equate to selling Jolly Ranchers. It's usually something else. But I support you. And you know what I mean? So it's a good look.
Yes,
it's a good look.
Yes.
So talk to me. Having a brick and mortar.
Even then, I was doing, back in the 80s, I was doing braids.
Excuse me.
I was doing my friend's hair. And I know how to. I said, oh, well, why do you need to go to the Africans? You can come to me.
I got you.
Right.
I could do that. Just get the hair and I'll do it for you.
Right.
And I was doing hair like
For X amount of dollars.
in my mother's kitchen. Yeah.
Look at
In
that.
your
So it was
mother's kitchen.
always
You was hustling for $1.
a hustle was there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not in that life.
And that could, yeah, right. That's okay.
But it's in us, and it even shows that people who are in that hustle, we are genius people.
Of
color.
course,
we know how
man.
to make the dollar and make
You
it
ever
work.
heard this
That's
expression of
right.
like, if you're able to actually sell that, you can sell anything. You know, I mean, you just have that in you. You're a seller.
Yeah, flip it, and you're selling Jolly
Right.
Ranchers.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when you had your boutique, what were you selling?
I was selling accessories. I started out by selling different accessories I was buying and reselling because I still had that same eBay mindset. And then a customer came to me and was like, what's the difference between, this is a boutique, and again, I was like uneducated. I just like, I'm going to do it. What's the difference between you and like Macy's? Because if I'm buying a Kenneth Cole wallet from you, I can get the same thing at Marshall's. Like, what makes you different? And when this guy said that to me, and the guy and the woman, they said that, I said, oh, you know what? He's right. He's like, oh, he was very smug, like, oh, you're going to go out of business fast. And I thought, well, what's going to make me more unique, like he said? So that's when I started thinking, well, why don't I put in a lot of my creative friends, because I have creative friends who are making their own products, and I'll make it a destination for local artisans who are making their own pieces.
Nice.
That way, it'll be one-of-a-kind pieces by your local artist.
Yeah.
And then I started doing events at the shop to bring people in. And it just kept going, and it kind of took off. I was doing the Buy Black thing before it was like a thing.
Where was the shop?
I was in Dumbo. I was on Front Street between Jay and Pearl, and this was back when Dumbo wasn't Dumbo. It was just downtown Brooklyn.
Okay.
So I was
But
there.
Brooklyn has always
Oh.
been like for the culture. So I know you were heavily supported
Yes.
in that area.
Yes, a lot of
A
locals.
lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic. It was before it was commercialized. I opened my store in 2010 when nothing was there, just mom and pop shops. Now when you go to Dumbo, it's like Shake Shack and
Oh yeah,
all these.
yeah.
It's fabulous.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I was there, it was just, it was just locals and we all supported each other.
When you were there, it wasn't even Dumbo, right?
It's downtown Brooklyn.
Downtown Brooklyn.
Downtown Brooklyn.
There's always been, and those and those are some of the things that happen. I mean, it was very challenging. I'm quite sure because having a brick and mortar, if you're selling almost anything, it was just yours. You're the sole proprietor. It gets to be a bit much, right?
It was a bit much.
Right,
and
right.
for me, because I jumped into it and I didn't educate myself 1st, I kind of just did it.
Right.
And then I was getting tickets from the consumer affair people. They pop up at your store. Oh, your sign, your flyer, like the sandwich boards, it's too far out. You can't be close to the sidewalk. Just all these different rules
Right.
that I had to educate myself on that I didn't. Even with your receipt, like your receipt has to have the like your name and the store address, the phone number, a proper contact.
Right.
I bought like a generic Staples box of receipts.
But I mean, but you were learning, and
Yes,
so
I learned on the fly.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
very grassroots.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yes,
you
I was.
what you knew, is that this is who you were,
Yes.
right? And then in
Absolutely.
establishing yourself, you're like, damn, I'm bumping my head, but you're gonna bump your head.
Yes.
Right, just like children do. You send your kids out, you get them a pair of skates, or you get them a bike, and they come home all bumped and bruised, and it's like, oh, but I learned a new trick.
Yes.
Right.
That was
So
me.
when you had your sandwich board out there,
And I got my $110 fine. I
you
figured
learned
it
a
out.
new trick.
I said, you know
You
what?
said, you know what? Let me bring that a little closer to the store.
And let me go on to their website, and that's what made
Yeah,
me go to
and learn.
consumer affair. I went to the consumer affairs in downtown Manhattan, and they have their laws are listed for storefront owners. Nobody knows that. No one teaches you that, and
Right.
I got tired of getting tickets of like really a lot of BS tickets.
Well, no one really teaches you anything.
Nope.
You go into business and there's so many. Trust me, I know this for a fact. As a business owner, there's so many rules. There's so many things that that happen. There's so many rule changes that you might not even be up to speed on. And you have to be, ambidextrous.
Absolutely.
You have
Absolutely.
and you have to be willing to learn. And just like Stack said, you bump your head. I mean, that's how you learn a lot of times. You learn from experience and what happens. You know what I mean? And more importantly, you're a woman in business.
Oh,
So I know you've run into a lot of detractors and people who don't believe in you, and people who say, "Oh, maybe you should try something else." And because they don't have a sense of your passion, they don't have any idea of knowing that this is what you were born to do.
absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
And people don't really care. Everybody's always out to try to derail you because they don't ever want to say you're successful. They always want to say, "Oh, don't." The first thing they want to say is, "Oh, don't do it. Oh, if this is what you don't want to do." I understand you're going through a lot. Forget about that. Why don't you do something else? Why? And it is never. They never pour into your energy.
Right.
They pour into the negativity of it, but they never pour into saying, or be supportive or do it. And especially,
Like, why is that?
and
I
because it's
always
just,
wonder.
it could be for a host of reasons. It could be because of jealousy. It could be because
Right.
it could
I never
because-
thought of that. So why should you do it?
Right, because or because heaven forbid you have something greater than me, right? Greater than what I can accomplish.
Absolutely.
Make me, you're making me uncomfortable.
Your
your
growth-
your success
Your-
is making me
your
uncomfortable.
growth makes me uncomfortable.
Facts, so
Point.
it's
That's a good
it's
point.
absolutely ridiculous. And then let's not even discuss
Wow.
the fact that gender wise, you're a woman. Culturally wise, you're a black woman. So now the obstacles are even greater. It's like the wall. The Great Wall of China, even. And it seems insurmountable. They make it like that, but it's not. Because all you got to do is just be steadfast and work hard and just
Yep.
and focus. You need to literally have blinders on when you speak to some of these people
Absolutely.
because it's like all they wanted you to do is just accept what they're saying and go, oh yeah, maybe I do. When you start saying maybe I need to do this something else, you already gave up. So never do that. And I'm telling you guys out there who have a business, speak to your heart. Don't listen to what people have to say because you're going to make mistakes. And in business, sometimes these mistakes are tough. They're hard. They're expensive. They're expensive mistakes, right?
They are.
So you have to think in terms of like, hey, what the hell? I'm doing these, and I'm doing all this. And I keep making mistakes, and is this really what I need to do? I mean, if you need to change your business model, do that. If you need to adjust your mindset in regards to how you function, do that. But don't give up on your dreams. Because these are your dreams, not theirs. That's why they could easily be so dismissive to what you're saying. Oh, you just forget it. Just the hell with them.
Oh, I heard that all the time.
You know what I mean? The hell with them.
I heard that all the time.
So
why don't you go get a job?
Right. Go get a job.
This is my job.
Go get a job. Work for somebody else. Go get a job. Yeah, go work for somebody else.
What?
Work for somebody else. and having a job is something totally. It's another whole thing in itself. All the poor man has is time. And poor man, all he does is barter his time to make money.
Yeah, I think that coming up, that's just what our parents knew, right?
Yes.
Go to school, right? Get your education. Education can be either just your high school diploma or your GED, and then you get a job.
Go get a job.
Right?
Yeah.
But then when it was like, okay, for us to go to college, it's like, oh, well, you could be the first one to go to college. But they never encourage you to take your own path. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but now I want to do this. And you just keep getting pulled back to do this. It's like, no, I want to do this. So I'm glad that you stayed on your path.
Yes.
I'm glad that you stayed on your path because I wouldn't say it so much, the haters, right? It's not the haters,
right.
But for the parents, it's something that they're not accustomed to. So it's like, how can you be successful doing that? How can you be successful? You're not going to, you have to do this. But in your mind, you're like, nah, I'm going to go get this store. You painted your own picture.
I sure did.
So at what age were you when you just kind of like fell in love with like pretty jewelry or bags or like a jacket or boots? Like what age did fashion really speak to you?
Like 13. Like junior high, because as I was saying to y'all earlier, there were things that people were wearing in school, and then my father would be like, "No, can't get it. No, we're not. No, you're not got. You're not. No,
we're not buying.
They're not even the conversation.
Right.
Is you're not having it, and it's in the story. We already bought your September school clothes,
right?
And you're like, well, I can't get clothes outside of September, like things like that. So I would see. Some of my older cousins and my god sister and different people, and they would have like these really cool gold chains on, these really pretty, just really great jewelry, and I'm like, I want that.
Right.
But then how do I get that and without it being that, because I can't get that because I can't afford that. So I would look for ways to get the pieces on a dime, as you would say, with my little bit of money. And then make it look unique so that you would say, oh, wow, where'd you get that necklace from? And like, I got that.
My mom
from
did.
This such and such store.
when rope chains were a thing, right? There was like pearls around a rope chain that she had. And she looked at the rope chain and she's like, I'm not going to get her that. But she cut the pearls from around the rope chain and she was like, here.
That's what I
and
used
I put
to do.
that on. It was like, oh, you got a rope chain.
And then people
that was
be
in
crazy
junior high school, and they
about
was
it.
like,
Yep.
oh, that's fake. I was like, no, it's not.
Nope.
No, my mother got it for me. I never said if it was real or fake. All I said was my mother got it.
But everyone was really open. Like, they were all like, oh, my gosh,
right.
look at that. That's, oh, my gosh. Like,
right.
And that's what happened with me. I would wear, like, sneakers and put, like, different shoelaces on it. Like, I would go to the 99-cent store and buy shoelaces and put it on it. Like, and it would just it will elevate the regular Reeboks and make it look a little bit different. And I'm telling, like, when I had the 54, I don't know if y'all know 5411.
Of course I do.
I used to throw, like,
course.
all kind of stuff.
No doubt. You kidding me?
And, I was only getting one pair because my father was like, you got that in September. You're going to have to keep that for the, And so I had to look for ways to make it look like it was still popping and refresh it. So I would put, I would take, like, my grandmother's brooches and put it on it. Yes. I would do all kind of stuff to make it look different. And I was that girl at school. People who know me from my childhood know that. Even when I got braces, I had
the different color rubber bands. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That was me. I was like, I'm
Right.
not gonna have silver rubber bands so you can make fun of me.
Who you think
Now
this
you're
is?
gonna make
It's velvet.
Yes.
What do you mean?
So I would have blue to match the blue that I'm
Right.
wearing, and I would
Fly.
put on different.
Love
Yeah,
that.
anybody who knows me from the '90s, they will tell. Anybody who knows me from high school knows. They say, "Oh yeah, that was." I was the only one in school with rubber bands
Right.
that matched my sneakers or my shirt, because I would change the rubber bands every other
As
day.
Dame Dash would say, that's fresh to death. So
Right.
That was me.
So listen.
That's the Bronx in me.
So listen. So it's apparent that fashion is a passion for you.
Yes,
right?
it was.
For you.
Still is.
So let's but I need you to, as a woman of color, to talk to us a little about some of the challenges that you faced.
You got time?
No, I have the time. That's why you're here, so you can speak on these
I'm
things.
teasing. It was when so I will say that when I first started looking and I knew that I wanted to get a store, and I would go to like these stores that I would see that were for rent, immediately they weren't for rent.
Right.
Or they would I remember one time I went to this store in Harlem because I really wanted to be in Harlem because that's where my family's from. My grandmother's there. I went to this store. It was on 117th. The guy that came to meet me, and he was like, "Oh, is your boss coming?"
Wow.
I am the boss.
No, I'm the boss. Like I said, no, I'm the one looking to rent. I'm the renter.
Right.
And then he said, "Oh, okay." And it like maybe through conversation, the price became a different price point. From what is listed and I saw it in the Daily News. I was back when the Daily News used to, and I saw it, and so it was that. It's really hard to get capital when I would talk to loans and try to get a loan. It was like, it was just all this extra stuff that you would have to do. Whereas then you can come in, as the male presenting person going, and you would get the loan. If you came for the storefront, no one would come to you and try to like give you a different price. They would just give you, okay, you want to rent this store? Here's the price. Right. Here's the storefront.
So
it wouldn't be. No one would ever say
discrimination came because you were a woman.
Consistently.
Right.
Every single store I went to, there was always, even when I had the store, people would come in and they would say, "Can I speak to the boss?" Or can I speak? People come in the store and they want to solicit their services.
I thought you was a cashier.
All the time.
Wow.
All the time. And sometimes it worked to my advantages because I didn't really want to
be
like a Verizon person or like people coming in talk. Could I speak to the person in charge? So I would say, "Oh, he's not here." I would make it up, but just like your presence sometimes gets shafted because people think that you have to be attached to a male to be the owner,
right?
And it is consistent. Even so, when I started selling my handbags and I created my own handbag line, I was dealing with a manufacturing firm in Bangladesh. And they would always write me and say, "Sir, sir." And so I would have to navigate that because over there, obviously, it's more male, more male dominated. And men usually are the ones that run the business. But even negotiating on price, it was like, well, do you have someone? It's always you have to be attached to a man. They can't just give you the price. They can't give you the store. When you go to buy things wholesale, it's a whole song and dance. And so, and to this day, it's better now. I think from when I started, I can see the difference with
because now women are more upfront. But initially, it was just all suits.
Always.
It was all suits, and that's the same in hip hop. I really think it's the same in any kind of business.
Industry.
Yeah, in
industry.
any industry, the man is always the face.
Well, historically, it was always that way.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The suits.
Jennifer Lawrence did a movie called, I forgot the name of the movie, where she was a business entrepreneur.
Really?
And if you get a chance, you should watch it. I can't remember the title of the movie, but Jennifer Lawrence was incredible in this movie. And it's based on a true story, where she was a person that actually worked for many years as someone who was an inventor, and she invented some stuff that she was trying to sell a mop.
Oh, wow.
And she was going to retailers and doing all these things, and she was getting it mass produced, and she had very little money. She actually created in bulk, and that same woman actually got on the got on these home shopping networks when they
Yes.
first started,
Yes.
and then she was able to actually generate income and become popular through that vehicle. So, and it's unfortunate, this country has always been male driven. It's been male white driven, and it's kind of disgusting. But as time progresses, I mean, I'm talking about not just being a business person. I'm talking about in any aspect. I mean, we're talking about sports. We're talking about everything else, right?
Yeah, and even like you guys' industry of hip hop,
right.
it's very male. Even
it's always been
in
male
2025, there's not even a lot of.
But ironically, right now the female rappers are selling more records than anyone.
Really?
That's because we're finally being heard.
Right.
Okay.
Finally being heard.
Right.
And it took so many decades to get here because again you had to be attached to right.
Always.
So Little Kim, Junior Mafia, Foxy Brown with the Firm, Eve with the Rough Riders, Lauryn Hill with
Nicki
the
Minaj with
Fugees.
Young Money.
Exactly.
All of
So
them, yeah.
every female rapper was always attached to.
And
That's how they
It's
got
the
on in the
same
first place.
way.
They
Right.
couldn't get on independently at some point. You had to be part of a successful clique of people.
You did.
You know what I'm saying? Like
You did,
Remy Ma, all these other people had to be
right,
successful.
Remy Ma, Fat Joe,
Right.
Terror Squad, because our voices were not trusted.
Right.
It's the same way.
Right.
It's the same way in my
But hold on,
industry.
so
Same way.
So who represents you? Who are you with?
Same way.
Right.
Same way. I'm here waiting to give you money to purchase or to rent your storefront, which is available, and you're asking me, "Oh, do you want to wait for your boss?" What?
Right.
Did I look like I'm waiting?
Your money's not the same color. Though.
Right.
Why do I need a man to stand here and negotiate the lease with
Because
me?
he's not
serious.
understanding.
You're not
Right.
serious as the next person.
And it
So
doesn't help that I look like I'm, at
So
the time
listen,
I looked like I was 13.
So,
This little girl.
and I think your success speaks to all the young women out there who are interested in becoming entrepreneurs.
Yes.
In some way, shape, form, or fashion. Don't give up because this woman has worked diligently, opened up her own store. Even her own boyfriend didn't care about what he was doing. Well, her ex.
What?
I'm married now, and it's
All
okay.
right.
Well, salute
It was
to
an
the
ex-boyfriend.
salute to your husband. We're talking about the ex-boyfriend. He didn't really care, but he didn't care. He did the same energy. He took on the same energy. Like maybe you shouldn't do it. Tell her about that story. You told me, but
I can't believe you remember that story.
I'm
That's crazy.
I'm
Out
good.
of everything that
good.
stood out.
because that stood out to me because I
Yeah.
felt that person was
Yeah.
the total
wrong.
antithesis of what should have happened.
Yep.
He should have poured into your energy. He should have
Right.
poured into you like, he should have been like, quote unquote, he should have been like, listen, we're gonna get through this. You need my help. How can I help you?
Yep.
What am I supposed to do? That's what a man is supposed to do. For you.
Absolutely.
You know
Well,
what
my
I'm saying?
husband is like that.
Well, your
now.
husband, salute
Yeah.
to him. I was
Yes.
talking about
But
him.
the ex
The
was
husband already, he good. We're not even
Right.
checking him.
He
We talking
got
about you talking about old boy. He out. That's why he out of here in the first place. So
It's that mindset.
But I had a couple of exes that had the same mindset. That the one that story that I told at the event that I was at was what happened to me because I needed to go to the store and he wanted to hang out, and then he was like, "Why? You're not making money like that anyway. Why don't you just stay with me? I'll pay for this and that." And I was like, "No, I don't need you to pay for me to hang out with you. I need to get to my store to open it and greet my customers." But it wasn't important to him because he didn't see me in that light. And just like T Money said, sometimes some men, they just glance over it. Like, no, this is what I really do for a living. And for you to say, "Oh, you're not making big time money like that anyway. I could pay for you to hang out with me." It just makes you feel like, well, what do you think I do all day? Like
Right.
Right.
I'm in a store and I remember a guy used to call me all the time during the day, and I'm like, "I'm in my store, I'm working," and he would say, "You're not working. That's not real work. You just hanging out in the store," like as if I'm like this cute boutique owner. There's things I need to do during the day, not stay on the phone with you all day.
right.
So I did have a couple of those moments, and that's when I realized, I said, okay, well, this person's not for me. And this is my passion. This is what I do. My business is real. I file taxes. I'm a legal business. And if you don't understand that or you feel intimidated by what I'm doing too, because I got a lot of that too. Sometimes I would
Definitely
get
intimidated. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, because a lot of men feel like they're not doing that. They actually sling garbage for a living, so they don't understand you being enterprising and wanting to do. No, I'm not. No, I'm not trying to belittle. I'm not trying to belittle anybody who actually
facts.
picks up
No.
garbage.
No,
speaking
no.
facts.
But you understand my energy,
I
right?
totally understand.
Because now you out there,
Yeah.
you meeting new people, you doing something, you're viable, you're attractive. So now they get, insecure. And that happens, you know what I mean? And they're not gonna tell you because they got this masculine thing going on. They got they got the S on their chest. Well, I ain't gonna tell you. I'm not gonna sit there and say, but it comes out. And it comes out in that form.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So but that's irrelevant. So understand this, that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I'm so proud of you and happy. As a black man.
Thank you.
I think that you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So I want you to tell us what you're doing now, currently, and how you're progressing your brand, and where at some point where everybody can find you and if you're doing anything new.
Well, I do feel that knowledge is important. When I started my business, I didn't really have a lot of people who were able to sew into me, or people who looked like me who could tell me about. Because even when I started the business and I started taking classes at the Learning Annex, the women that were there were white women.
Okay.
They weren't really black women. So what I'm doing now is I teach with my partner. I have a partner who came to me with an opportunity. I teach on the weekends every Saturday at the Brooklyn Pride Center through the FEEP program, which is Future Entrepreneurs Program.
Oh, okay.
And it's a program where we teach future entrepreneurs in the trans community or LGBTQ community how to start their business from the bottom up.
Right.
And then I also do a lot of speaking engagements, like How I Met You.
Right.
I've started doing panel discussions where we can have real conversations about how to start your business or what it looks like as a woman in that dynamic and what that looks like. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I have enough knowledge because I've been doing this since 2007. And I'm
she
still
thinks
here.
that she can't have a podcast.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, I can't.
Right,
you
right.
guys are
Listen to
great
that.
at this.
Right. Listen to
Listen.
that. That's crazy.
I'm
No,
sorry,
that's
keep
your
going.
lane. That's your lane. My lane is the stores.
No, because you just said
I'm
that
retail.
No, you get paid to speak and pour into people.
Yes.
Right. That is
Oh, God,
podcast.
Stacks,
no,
don't get on
listen.
me.
That is podcast worthy. So let me not interrupt you. Keep going. Go ahead, sis.
Yes, that I guess it is. I guess.
Oh,
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I already got the title. This is Velvet. That's it. And it could start out with, what is it, Velvet?
I know. Forever. That's
I'm
gonna
just saying,
like,
that's
goes
how it could start.
forever and ever.
You know you're wrong for that.
No,
right?
No,
I'm not.
People
What
do
is
that
it,
to me on the
Velvet?
street.
What is it, Velvet?
People
That's
do that to
funny.
me on the street. People do that or Red Velvet. Are you like back when I was dating? It'd be like, oh, you soft like velvet, like just ridiculous. And you have to explain that your name.
You probably heard it.
Oh, I heard the whole.
Yeah.
And that's another thing as a woman entrepreneur, you have to be able to be assertive and shut things down when people cross the line.
Oh
and,
yeah. You gotta be,
and
we don't do that.
Right.
no, not you, but
I'm not saying in general.
there are men that can be skeevy, and you're like, I just want to make my handbags. So stuff like that. So it's things like that you have to teach your daughter how to know the difference in the conversation and when it goes too left.
My daughter's studying to be an attorney.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
she's knocking them out.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
she
not,
gonna
and my
shut
daughter's
everything
my
down.
daughter's tough. I told her how to be tough. I told her how to fight. I told her, yo, listen to me. I speak highly of my daughter.
She's a Renaissance baby.
Yeah, because
That's right.
she's official, and that's it. And listening to women like yourself, man, she has great examples to follow. Okay, I want to thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so grateful.
Wait, where can we find you? Though?
Oh,
Yeah, let everybody.
Oh,
This is
yes.
your camera right here.
oh,
Please
that's
let
my.
everybody
Oh my
know where
goodness!
we
All
can
this
find
time I
you.
haven't been even looking at
That's
that
all.
camera.
That's all. You don't have to.
It caught you. It caught you. Keep going.
You're going to direct what you're saying to our viewing audience and tell them where they can find you, and
You can find me
purchase your accessories.
VedazzlingAccessories.com. VEDAZZLING accessories.com. I'm on Instagram as Vedazzling. I'm on Twitter's now X as Vedazzling. LinkedIn, I'm Vedazzling Accessories. All of the platforms, TikTok, all of that, I'm on Vedazzling Accessories. And you can email me at vedazzling@gmail. So you could Google me. I feel good because...
You Googleable?
Yes.
No question.
That feels really good. You can Google me. My name is Velvet Lattimore, and you can Google that, or you can Google Vedazzling Accessories. I also have an Amazon store where I sell a lot of my products on Amazon.
Yay.
So I'm everywhere.
No doubt, no doubt.
You everywhere, they ain't never there.
Worldwide, child.
Come on, Velvet. Come
So
on, Velvet.
that's how you can find me.
No doubt.
Yes.
Thank you, Velvet, for being here, okay?
No, thank you for having me.
Yo, this is T-Money, and you are currently watching the T-Money podcast joint. My girl, Stax Cadero, and Velvet in the building. Velvet Lattimore. I didn't know her last name. Velvet Lattimore.
Because
Peace, two fingers, man. We'll see you next time, okay? Yo, support this lady, man. She's doing her thing. All right?
Thank you.
And we out of here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Money podcast joint.